come into this match. England having got out of the Trent Bridge Test with a most gallant draw, Graham Gooch hitting that great century in the second innings. Conditions were marvellous here for the opening day of this match. Lovely sunny moment when the two captains went out to toss. This time it's Vivian Richards and John Embury skippering England for the first time. And Vivian Richards not absolutely certain what he wanted to do once the coin came down in his favour. Eventually he decided the West Indies would bat, and those are the teams for this match. West Indies go in unchanged, and England have the change of Moxon for Gatting, and then Gladstone Small coming into the side with Philip de Freitas as 12th man, and John Embury is skipper in place of Mike Gatting. Well, those lovely sunny conditions I mentioned when Vivian Richards won the toss and decided West Indies would bat changed quite dramatically with a heavy cloud cover coming over. Perhaps it might be one of those occasions where it's not absolutely essential to be a good captain. Being a lucky captain might be just what you want. We pick up the play now. In the very first over, Graham Dilley is coming in, Gordon Greenidge is taking strike, and there are no runs on the board.
Oh, what a lovely shot. Not a bad ball. It was well up and it was just swinging gently away, but Gordon Greenidge made all the distance with that front foot. Such an easy stroke.
Slightly surprising that West Indies did choose to bat first. The groundsman yesterday said that he'd had some rain which hadn't been forecast on the pitch on Thursday, and although a fierce wind had dried it out, there's obviously still a little moisture there. Surface unlikely to crack, a good even covering of grass. It's flicked away by Greenidge. A despairing effort there by Jarvis, but a second boundary for Gordon Greenidge.
He's got one or two unusual field places this morning, as John Embury. Very deep gully, and man just behind square as well.
Graham Dilley now to come in and bowl to Desmond Haynes.
But he hasn't got one there. And even if there had been one, he wouldn't have wanted to be a yard away from that. It was so perfectly timed.
Yeah, she won't get a much better shot than that. Gordon Greenidge played one early on, and that was equal to it.
And a real buzz around the ground, as there always is on the first morning of a test match here.
There's more movement for Graham Dilley from the opposite end. Again, away from the right-hander. And the England opening bowlers will be encouraged with the way the ball's moved around. And if they don't get a breakthrough soon, there's just a possibility of a little frustration setting in, because there's definitely movement there and they have gone past the bat. So it's important that they keep their mind under control. Almost a replay of the previous delivery. Groping forward, not in a position to play it, or bowled.
It's a great performance by the man at short leg, Martin Moxon, and boy, did Dilley deserve that.
Tremendous catch this, especially from somebody who doesn't normally field there for his county side Yorkshire. Bat pad to his left and having to dive forward too. Superb catch and a very well-deserved wicket for Graham Dilley.
Haynes caught Moxon, bowled Dilley for 12. Really just not out 8, 21 for 1. Here's a cracking shot. Beautifully bowled. It's a great catch too, but that's true reward for Graham Dilley for an excellent spell of fast bowling, where the outswinger has posed many problems for the West Indian batsman.
Yes, fine bowling by Dilley this morning. He's had a good stiff breeze behind him, worked at good pace, a little bit of movement, and a perfect example of the outswinger. Nothing much the batsman could do about that. Perfect length, he had to play, and that's a great wicket for England, because Gordon Grange has made Lords one of his favourite grounds. He's got some marvellous scores here, but he's gone there, caught Downton bowled here for 22. He's certainly gone past the bat on numerous occasions this morning, Dilley, and fully deserved these couple of wickets. I think the greatest thing by Dilley this morning is got the ball close enough to that off stump to make the batsman play. Just occasionally at Nottingham he bought some good outswingers, but they were just that little bit wide of the off stump, so when he beat the bat, so people didn't have to play, it was just that touch wide. But this morning he's got that outswinger going round about off stump just outside, and batsmen have had to play it.
Now 4 slips and a gully, and it's worked. The extra slip comes in. Embury takes the catch. Richie Richardson continues his bad trot on English pitches, and England are doing it well at 47 for 3, the West Indies.
Yes, and good captaincy by John Embury, strengthening that slip field to Richardson. He's been a bit vulnerable outside off stump, taking his fine leg away to get the 4 slips in there, and Dilley producing just the ball for it. Very low down, just carrying there to slip. Another foot deep, and his centre wouldn't have made that. So delight there for John Embury.
That's 47 for 3 now. 22 to Greenwich, 12 to Haynes, 5 to Richardson. Richards not out 6. It's been a good morning for England. Carl Hooper is the new batsman, 21 years of age, and made a great impression at Trent Bridge. For 3. Hooper's off the mark with that 3, and Viv Richards is on 6.
Gladstone small. And that's it. Small breaks through, and the movement that's been there all morning now, suddenly the edges are being taken, and it's all going England's way. So there's the end of Carl Hooper, who played such a cultured innings at Trent Bridge.
There's a bit of extra bounce here from Gladstone Small. Not moving away a bit, but just bounce a little bit higher.
Now the new batsman is Gus Logie. A leave alone shot, and that could have gone anywhere.
Logie again trying there to take the bat out of the way, getting the bottom edge, and 4 runs for it, but very near that off stump.
Oh, and that's out. That's out. There's the wicket that England wanted above all. Viv Richards. A fairly loose stroke, but again Dilley getting the bounce and the movement. And now West Indies in all sorts of trouble. Half their side gone, including the captain.
Dilley again producing that outswinger, a little bit of bounce, and again the ball going straight to slip, but again Downton pinching it out of Prindle's hands.
Dilley to Logie. Oh, and there's through. That's at catchable height. Wouldn't think that a ball could thread its way through there.
Well, a little bit of fortune here for the West Indies for the first time this morning. Who wants it?
Well, what should be the last ball before lunch. Dujon to face it, and Dilley bowling. Another away swing as he's probed around that off stump all morning. And the end of a great spell for Graham Dilley. Unchanged, 13 overs, 4 for 35. He's deserved each and every wicket. And what a great start and a first session as Test captain for him. John Embury, David Gower must be wondering what would have happened had they batted first, but Embury lost the toss. The weather changed, the sun went, the clouds came, and Dilley burst into top form. Graham Dilley leading them off, and why not? And the batsman he got out, well, just look at that. Pedigree batsmen them all. Desmond Haynes was the first one. Lovely short leg catch by Marty Moxon. Then Richardson and Greenidge. And finally the biggest scalp of all, Viv Richards. England bowlers have all done John Embury proud. One chance missed, that's all, but apart from that, it's been England's morning.
A beautiful dart shot there off the toes, and again, marvellously quick outfield. Chris Broad having no chance there, chasing that down the hill.
It's a fast outfield, but when you lay into it like that, it goes even faster. Good shot by Gus Logie.
Yes, Glaston Small just losing a little bit of control this over. That was a pretty good shot. It wasn't a full half volley, a little bit on the up. Certainly giving it the full treatment.
It's in the air, but that's safe. Now that was a false shot, aiming the ball straight down the ground, and the ball flew square on the offside, but between Gower and Lamb. Oh yes, and that's Gus Logie's 50. He's been positive about everything.
4 bowlers used so far. And one of those, Jarvis, is now coming on at the pavilion end, members end, to take over from Gladstone Small. There was a catch dropped at slip earlier in the morning. That one didn't actually go to hand, but they have been flying around about the slip area. There'll be shouts of bad luck around the ground, but Gus Logie's prepared to give it a dash out there, and so far he's made 59. Mark that down as a chance. That's beaten David Gower. There's a run down the hill there. Makes it awfully difficult for anyone to save a boundary once the ball gets past you.
Yes, nice stroke off the front foot. Good follow through. No need really to run once it goes past the fielder down that hill.
There's been all-out studious defence to try and get their way back into the game. 100 out of 134 in boundaries.
John Embury now coming on for his first bowl of the match. There goes another big hit, but not really getting hold of it. Embury to Dujon. And that's the 150 up for the West Indies. And they've made pretty rapid progress there. The end of 46 overs. The 150 came up after 278 deliveries, with the last 50 the quickest of the lot off 73. And I think that really shows just what their approach is. When they're in trouble, they're prepared to go for the shots. Here's a great shot, showing just all the extravagance of Geoffrey Dujon's stroke play. And that's the 100 partnership.
Well, there's never been any doubt that Dujon can play shots. It's just been this choice of when to play them that's been the problem sometime, but he's certainly proving two good ones today.
Paul Jarvis loosening up from the nursery end to replace Derek Pringle. Well, giving it the full treatment, and that's another boundary. And really, they don't hold back.
It just adds to the frustration, but it's width. You see the ball's been bowled wide enough to allow a full extension of the arms and the bat.
It's gone, and that's the third chance. Juggling effort there.
Once again, the unlucky bowlers, Jarvis driving at it hard. Gooch is right, up in the air. There it is again. No, no, oops, and down. From this angle, really got, oh, how frustrating.
Yes, it was, because Gooch had actually knocked it back up with one hand, and then the other hand inadvertently palmed it straight to the ground. Otherwise he would have taken that at the fourth attempt. And that's the game of cricket. Jarvis to Dujon. And that's 4 runs. That's Dujon's 50. 8 fours. His runs have come out of 177 for 5. Out of a 6th wicket stand of 123. Two more to Dujon. Embury to Dujon. 7 runs already off this final over before the tea interval. Oh, and that's bowled him off the inside edge. And one thinks that the tea interval might have dealt with Geoffrey Dujon there, just determined to play it with an angled bat, and in fact angled it so far forward, didn't kill the pace of the ball, and back onto the stump. So Ember is the man who's finally done what England have been seeking to do ever since lunch.
Brilliant piece of work. He's taken a couple this year that have been absolute blinders, and to deprive Gus Logie of his century by 19 runs, John Embry has just taken another one.
Yes, it certainly seems to be the place to feel against the West Indians. They all go for the square cut, and off the back foot they hit the ball in there, square on the offside, and yet again the same shot. Not quite on top of it, hit pretty hard. And John Embry just managing to hang on to it, doubling up, probably the ball coming out of his hands.
And he hit that with great power. That's the first grab from John Embry, and then the clutch into the body. Graham Gooch put one down, having juggled it 4 times, but that has stayed there. Most valuable wicket for England, and a nice moment for the New England captain. This time there's no juggle around for Graham Gooch, and Graham Dilley has full reward for a terrific performance here at Lord's today. Marshall the man to go. Dilley 5 wickets in a test match innings for the 6th occasion, and England having a marvellous day here, the first day of this second Cornhill Test.
Graham Dilley's 5th wicket, and almost exactly the same as he got a couple out this morning. Pitching off stump, leaving the right-hander high up the shoulder of the bat, and Gooch making no mistake.
Gladstone Small from the pavilion end. Curtly Ambrose, the batsman. Oh, it's brilliantly caught. Marvellous catch that by Gower. Fast to his left and diving high, and Curtly Ambrose is gone. Caught Gower, bowled Small for naught. And just to have a second view of that. Beautiful catch. Timing the leap to the left with great perfection. And that's the card. 199 for 9.
Small to bowl to Walsh. There's a big hit. Should be out. Lamb underneath it. And he's dropped it. 2 runs in the end. Well, wicketkeeper Downton could have got there. The bowler could have got there. But in the end, Lamb took the responsibility.
Yes, I suppose really the keeper should have kept on shouting for it when he's in that position, but it's not often you see Alan Lamb drop them when they're up there. 3-4 goes again, and down it went. But Downton could certainly have got there pretty easily, and it is usual to leave it to the keeper if he can get there.
That's bowled in. Reward there for Small, who'd seen that Skyer dropped.
Well, he did feel really just a matter of getting one ball in the right place, and Gladstone Small imagining to do that at the finish. Dilley's gone past the bat time after time, but Small making the ball go slightly in there and ending the innings off at 209. So a marvellous performance there by England, and a great day for John Embry as his first day as appointed captain of England.
It certainly was, and not only did Embry captain England with a certain amount of skill and authority, but he had a bit of luck as well. I always think that is the prime requirement for any skipper. West Indies 209. I think England would have settled for that at the start of play today, and certainly West Indies would have when they were 54 for 5. The opening stand, and then Logie and Dujon, very good performance from them. Fine innings from Logie, and a terrific performance from Graham Dilley and Gladstone Small. Dilly 5 for 55. He had his outswinger working well. He pitched it just about perfectly most of the day, just on middle and off stump and swinging away. A very good effort from him. 4 wickets to Gladstone Small and 1 to John Embury. Well, when England came out to bat, the light had faded a little. We'd promised plenty of sunshine here at Lord's today, but I'm afraid it didn't eventuate except at the toss. And when Gooch and Chris Broad came out, conditions weren't all that good. They moved along to 13, and it was at that point the first wicket fell. Chris Broad is the man taking strike, and Malcolm Marshall is the bowler coming in from the nursery end. Oh, must be. It's got to be one of the plummest things ever, unless he got a touch on it. First wicket down for England. Ooh, well, did it pitch in line with the stumps? That would be the big thing. Not a question of whether he got a touch on it. He didn't get near it, but it did come back a long way. After Chris Broad's dismissal, Martin Moxon came in, survived one tremendous appeal for OBW where he didn't play a shot, and it looked to be perilously close. 20 for 1 England been added to the overnight total, and Patterson is coming into bowl to Graham Gooch. Superbly struck.
Almost as the bowler let go of the ball, one sensed that that would be punished.
It's Patterson now to Moxon. That's 4. Certainly not off the middle, but it'll still please Moxon more than it did Patterson.
The danger man, Marshall. One more to Graham Gooch. There's a good shot. It was in the air. Patterson got down to it. Won't be 4, but a little bit of an iffish stroke.
And that's what happens when you're driven a little bit on your back foot with these quick bowlers, and you're probably just that fraction late in getting onto the front foot. And that was very close to Patterson's hand, only 2 or 3 inches, but it was hit pretty firm, almost going for 4.
Patterson had a bowl to Moxon. There's a good shot. That's 4 runs.
Well, that'll do Martin Moxon's confidence a little bit of good.
That brings up the 50. That came off just 94 deliveries. That's the length, and that really wasn't where Moxon was playing it, but it's 4 more. Ambrose to Moxon. That's out. Fine catch, fine delivery, and Curtly Ambrose has struck. It's the wicket West Indies wanted. It's an important one. Martin Moxon. No real blame attached to him for this. A good delivery.
The point was said that Ambrose and Walsh would pitch the ball farther up, and that was the perfect length for this wicket. Had to play it at Moxon. It was roundabout off stump, just outside. But certainly had to play, and a little bit of extra bounce just carrying through to Richards at left there.
New batsman David Gower.
Rather an involuntary shot there from David Gower. It was more a drop the wrist job, and the ball hit the bat rather than the bat making any deliberate contact. That's a neat stroke. A little bit of extra bounce there for Courtney Walsh. Patterson, the fielder. And 3 to go. That's nicely timed and at great peril to the short leg Gus Logie.
Very classy stroke that from a pretty classy player. Perfect timing. Off the back foot about hip height. And Gus Logie having to take evasive action.
We should look for 2 there. Patterson's the fielder. Curtly Ambrose is down at deep fine leg. Just 2 from that shot. Must have looked to Gower as though he was going to go for 4.
The man that so many of England's hopes rest on. Just got a bit stuck lately since he lost his partner Moxon. Some 5.5 overs ago, he scored 3 singles while David Gower's scored 21 runs. Beautiful stroke again, this from David Gower. Off the hip, repeat of a stroke that he played off the same bowler about 4 overs ago with the same result.
That's the problem area for the left-hander. Courtney Walsh picked him up at Trent Bridge in very similar fashion to that. And it was that ball going past the edge of Gower's bat that brought the umpires together. They got out their light meters, and it was the grey skies that eventually took the players off with a score at 88 for 2. It didn't look too promising, even though the light improved a little before lunch. They might have come out for an over or so, but decided instead to take an early meal. We pick up play now after lunch, just 4 runs added, and David Gower again is facing Ambrose.
Oh, super shot. That's the very best of David Gower. A little bit of room outside off stump. And that quite vicious flick of the wrists sends the ball away to third man. Another beautiful shot by Gower. Finally timed and finally played down to the pavilion fence there. The speed of the ball running sweetly and smoothly down to fine leg. 4 runs. And England's 100 comes up off 175 balls. Another sweetly timed shot by David Gower. And how his score leaps along. They all seem to be deft touches, but there's great timing and eventual power. Courtney Walsh, the bowler, and Gooch, 35 not out. Well bowled indeed. The bowling's been shared between Curtly Ambrose and Courtney Walsh here from the pavilion end. Relentless pace, plenty of movement off the pitch. We've seen some good strokes, very positive stroke play, many of which have gone for 4. But just no luck for Courtney that time. Applause for the 50 partnership. It's come up off 81 balls. You see there that David Gower, 42 not out, has actually overtaken Graham Gooch on 36. It's Arthurton, the substitute fielder, and Gower's gone. Well, I don't think I've ever seen David Gower out on the miss hook, but all credit to the West Indies. That was bowled for, and the man fielding out there instead of Gordon Greenwich, Keith Arthurton, waltzed underneath it, took it easily, and that really is a bit of a chuck away.
And David Gower will be really cross with himself here because he's committed to the shot. The ball's missing off stump by quite a long way, which meant that he never really had the sort of control over it that he would have liked.
Yes, what started in line with his body, about leg stump, in fact ended up well outside it, off stump, and he was really trying to tug it across, and from that moment it became out of control. And a good catch. 112 for 3 then, and still a lot more work needed to be done by the England batsman. Curtly Ambrose from the nursery end. Lamb is off the mark in a very positive fashion. And he'll feel a little easier now.
Malcolm Marshall now coming back into the attack. He's only had the one spell today. He replaces Ambrose. Well, straight into top gear. It's quite a loosener.
Yes, but a pretty good loosener. Just a touch wide, but Gooch certainly played at it. And the ball going wider still, so a little bit of movement there for Malcolm Marshall away from the bat. But he hasn't done that too often in this Test series so far.
Well, that's done it. First one way and then the other. And Graham Gooch nearly dropped his bat, but, well, What a strike for Malcolm Marshall and the West Indies. No wonder he's delighted, they're delighted. Graham Gooch is not having played the anchor role so well for England. 44 runs, 106 balls, 3¼ hours and 5 boundaries. Good solid performance from the England opener.
Yes, a little bit lazy there. He's not going right at it, but certainly playing with a bit of a gap. Not really in one of the best Gooch innings there.
Now the innings right back in the balance. New batsman Derek Pringle. Not for the first time this summer, Ray, coming into, if not a crisis, at least a quite sticky situation. Pringle off the mark straight away.
Courtney Walsh. And Duchamp has taken a great catch. Marvellous wicket-keeping catch with Pringle going for the hook shot. He got either an edge or the glove. Looked a little more like the glove. And Courtney Walsh has had just reward for some splendid bowling. Pringle caught Duchamp, bowled Walsh for 1, and it's 134 for 5. Just the glove, and Duchamp momentarily would have been unsighted and then made good ground, and Pringle didn't wait. Pringle out for 1, and Downton is the new batsman.
Well, they don't look too disappointed with what's happened, and I'm sure they'd have been looking for 1 or even 2 less wickets lost at this stage of the proceedings. Oh, huge appeal, and he's gone. Lamb doesn't tend to get very far forward, pushing in front of his leg and possibly round it. Disappointed there, but another great strike for West Indies and for Malcolm Marshall. Lamb having been in for well over an hour for just those 10 runs, and now England in trouble.
It's Marshall again that creates it, having bowled outside that off stump and left the bat. This one he brought back from outside the off stump.
And Lamb's departure sees the arrival of the New England captain, John Embury. Probably the warmest reception to greet any batsman so far in this match. Marshall just adjusting his field to him. He's also played a fair number of his test matches against the West Indies. 12 of them. And there we are. That's quite a greeting, whether you're captain or not.
First ball, quick bouncer. Embury taking his eye off the ball, whack on the ear.
Patrick Patterson now, having replaced Courtney Walsh. There's a good shot from Paul Downton.
Paul Downton very quickly onto that. Patterson hasn't yet worked up to full pace. The ball not really bouncing, but all credit to Downton as he watched it all the way, rolled the wrists. It was all pretty classic.
Yes, for a middle-order batsman to do that against a world-class fast bowling attack. Oh, what a delivery. Off the ridge.
Yes, well, if you hit that right length, we've said it before, there's always something in this wicket. Pulled out there, did pretty well to get inside that, because it actually came back like a big off break and he was still inside the line.
Well, one which may well have held up.
Well, there you saw the advantage of that length. The previous ball came back like an off break, and that one going slightly up the hill. Paul Downton managed to get inside both of them.
Well, that's a very fine piece of bowling. And it had Emery all tied up. Almost cut him in two.
Yes, doesn't use too much backlift, Emery, but it's very effective when he does that. Can't place a field for that sort of a shot.
Not a particularly good stroke from John Embury. It brings about the loss of the next wicket for England, but Patterson has threw him by sheer pace. Looked as though Embury started off to play a pull shot, but was never anywhere near completing the stroke.
No, he's had a pretty torrid time from Patterson. It was bowled pretty quick, short of a length. That was certainly short of a length, but it was not a pulling shot, and particularly at that pace. Really, just played off the back foot on the offside would have been better effort altogether. And John Embury done completely on pace now.
Now Gladstone Small facing his first ball from Patrick Patterson. On the way to a nice start. This is Malcolm Marshall, and he's bowling to Paul Down. Well, that looks absolutely plumb, and at first glance, looked as though it may not have got up all that much, but I suspect he was merely beaten for pace.
Yes, I think it probably was more on pace.
Paul Jarvis, the new batsman. That's a good start for Paul Jarvis. He looked as though he's waiting for the Yorker, got it, and still managed to get it away. That's the second occasion where batsman has ducked into a shortish pitched ball. Embury got one first ball. And that's beautifully bowled. That is very, very clever bowling. Desmond Haynes is the man at mid-on. Marshall put the man over the offside and bowled a slower ball. Jarvis was drawn into the drive. That's very, very thoughtful stuff from the West Indian fast bowler.
Yes, I was just saying there that he was going to hold it back and get him caught in the covers. But Paul Jarvis managed to find the one man on the leg side. But certainly Marshall did him with the change of pace. Jarvis was through the stroke. You see there, he didn't make contact until he'd lost control of the bat, really. And the ball just lobbing up there to mid-on.
Brilliant effort from Malcolm Marshall. Graham Dilley has his stumps spread all over the place. Gladstone Small remains not out. That's a great effort by the West Indian bowlers. There was nothing England could do about it. They fought hard enough, but the West Indies did wonderfully well. The top scorer, David Gower, 46. He'll regret that stroke caught by the subfielder Arthurton, and well caught too, off the unlucky Courtney Walsh. But it was a fine effort. Gooch, 44, and Ambrose chipping in for the wicket of Martin Moxon early on. Bowling figures reflect everything that happened out there today. Malcolm Marshall, 6 for 32. Once again, 5 wickets in a test match innings. A great performance from him. And I thought Courtney Walsh bowled really beautifully. 16 over 6 maidens, 2 for 36. And my word, it could have been so much better than that. Patterson and Ambrose both did well. But only the 4 bowlers used. And just to underline what a great bowler Malcolm Marshall is, there's a list of the world bowlers and their strike rates. Marshall, a wicket every 45 balls bowled. Fred Truman, he's gone ahead of Fred, and Fred was a great bowler. Everyone on that list, a superb performer. Interestingly enough, the names of Marshall, Holding, Garner, and Andy Roberts, they're all modern-day West Indian fast bowlers, and they all make that list. And a terrific performance from Malcolm Marshall, not only today, but over recent years as well. So the position of the game at that point, the West Indies 44 runs ahead, having bowled England out for 165. But when the West Indies went in for their second innings, there were quite a number of stoppages for bad light. The umpires kept looking at their light meters, the covers came on, as they're required to do under the playing regulations for this tour, for the Cornhill Test matches. And the umpires and players were on and off 3 or 4 times before finally play was called off for the day. Experienced opening pair. We pick up the action now in the 6th over of the morning. 10 runs have been added. Gladstone Small is coming into bowl, and Gordon Greenwich is taking strike.
Oh, yes. That's the very best of Gordon Greenwich. Exciting to watch, but also technically quite immaculate. In goes Graham Gooch to third slip. 3 slips. How's that? That's out. And a big smile on Graham Dilley's face. And the forlorn Desmond Haynes makes his way back to the pavilion. Well caught by Downton. Low to his right. So Haynes has caught Downton and bowled Dilley for 5.
Well, this is a pretty good delivery. Possibly again that he might just let that go, but it pitched just outside off stump and really swung away, and it was drawn into the stroke, which is what happens when you can bowl good outswingers. And delight there for the England players.
Just one more look at the fall of Desmond Haynes' wicket. On or about off stump. And so many nicks to the keeper and to slip we've seen in this match.
Now it's Small to Richardson.
That's a good shot. No need to run for that. Paul Jarvis to replace Gladstone Small. Well, nobody moves for that.
Nobody quicker to get on to the long half volley than Gordon Greenwich, and he doesn't mess about when it comes to hitting it either.
Graham Dilley to Richie Richardson. Well, pitch it short, and that's what's happened. Very rare bad ball from Graham Dilley. He's pitched it up throughout the match, but well, that one really got what it deserved. Great delivery. Really, Dilley is proving himself to be a class above any other bowler in the England side. There, look at the lovely swing just before it pitched and seeming still further away, and Downton taking it shoulder height. Square cut, looking for two and getting them. It's the West Indies 50 up, which has come off 108 deliveries, score rate that they maintained in their first innings. Similarly, one of around 3 and over in the second innings. This time Greenwich is onto it. That's 4 more.
Throughout this innings, we haven't seen a bad ball bowled to Greenwich without it being punished.
A great catch. Was hit fiercely by Richie Richardson. Lamb got it.
Yes, he really cracked it hard. Lamb's fairly deep in the gully. In fact, he's very deep, but still going pretty hard. But he got both hands onto it, so I suppose it's got to go down as a chance. But it would have been a good catch.
Down the nursery end now, and it's to be Gladstone Small to bowl from that end. A decent old belt down the ground. There was half a shout to start with. Moxon did the right thing. Never quite know if it's a faint nick you haven't heard. That missed the bat by a long, long way. The only possible thing could have done would be strike the glove on the way up.
He certainly missed the bat, but very good catch by Moxon. Made a lot of ground, and that's the important thing.
Half-century for Gordon Greenwich. Not only that, but it brings up his 6,000 Test match runs. The 19th player in the history of the game to do that. And this is his 26th Test match against England. His 8th 50, and he also has 500s. Well, it's beautifully played. There's a change in delivery from Paul Jarvis. But it didn't affect Gordon Greenwich. It almost affected Derek Pringle.
Well, Greenwich nowhere near middling that. But such is the power of the man. It was on the up, about a half volley. And it still went for 4.
There is the Greenwich trademark shot. Nobody moves except the ball boy.
Stands in the crouch position and then uncoils as he lashes the ball away on the offside. This time it's the length that gave him the room, as it were, to play the shot.
it's flicked away, another stray down leg side. Only 2 this time, though, to Richardson. That 100 coming up off 195 balls with a second 50 off 87. Small. Oh, lovely shot. Great shot, and whether it's 2 minutes before lunch or not, a half volley's a half volley.
Little bit of width with it as well, and Richardson lashes through that with high hands, full blade of the bat. And that had to be straight at you to stop it.
Well, it's in the air, but that's a couple of bounces and a roll at 4 runs over extra cover. And that's a very aggressive start after lunch by Gordon Greenidge. And again, and nowhere near the pitch of the ball. Really a risky shot there.
No need to take silly chances, just play properly.
Well, that was a chance. That was a drop behind the wicket by Downton as Richardson tried to steer the ball down to third man.
This is the chance to Paul Downton again. Outside edge in the middle of the gloves. And even a second chance, and they didn't catch it.
Here's Derek Pringle now, and he's bowling to Richie Richardson.
Big shout, given out. Derek Pringle looks as if it was just a simple confirmation by the umpire, but Richardson looks a trifle confused.
Well, throughout his innings, Richardson's been playing with that left leg too far across. He did the same thing here.
So Viv Richards yet to score, and Derek Pringle, the bowler, from the nursery end. It's cleared, it's 6. And that really is taking on Embury, because there is a fielder down there. Paul Jarvis is down the deep mid-wicket boundary. From outside off stump, 6 runs.
Goes. He's full this time. Pringle to Richards. Oh, what a beautiful shot. Just a flick, but 4 all the way.
Any bowler who's bowled at Viv Richards has been hit through mid-wicket for 4, and Pringle's no exception.
Embury bowling to Greenidge. Down the wicket, and Dilly a ricochet. It'll still probably go for 4, and it does. Good effort by Dilly, but just showing the massive power with which Gordon Greenidge hit that ball.
A little bit more flight from Embury. Greenidge down the wicket, drives hard. Dilly sliding across, looked like he got a knee on it.
off the over so far. Small to Greenwich. There it is. Glorious 100. Well worked for, well fashioned. His 15th for the West Indies, his 6th against England, and his 2nd here at Lord's, as well as, of course, the 100 he got in the MCC Rest of the World match last year. So what a return to form for the West Indies opener. 103 out of 177 for 2.
Great shot from Richards. Just needs the slightest straying in direction from Gladstone Small. Richards to whip that away in front of square leg. Lovely stroke.
Yes, nobody plays that stroke in the game better than Richards. Perfectly timed, plenty of power, roll of the wrists, and away it goes.
Straight drive in the air, but no thought of anyone catching it. They've just got to go and fetch it.
And that ball's now beginning to get a little bit worn, which is not surprising.
And that is a better shot than anything else we've seen played today. With 2 men stationed back on the drive, one at mid-off, one at mid-on. It went past the bowler, and between those two, just like a rocket.
Yes, well, that was the half volley. And really, that was a magnificent stroke. Tremendous power. He doesn't have to run too much, this fellow Viv Richards, when he hits the ball.
That's not very sensible from Gladstone. Every chance Richards would have been waiting for that. The short one to follow the 3 boundaries it just struck, and that's brought up Richards' half-century. Triumph for Dilly, and very welcome for him, for John Embury, and for the England team. Gordon Greenwich, the man to go for 103. Just 2 short of the 200, the West Indies total. And a magnificent innings from the opening batsman. Beautifully bowled by Dilly. It just went away enough in the air, and then continued on. Might have landed on the seam. It was just about the perfect dismissal. It's a terrific shot. Richards is really giving it some hammer out there now. The leading run getters for West Indies against England, Sir Garfield Sobers, 3,240, and now Viv Richards has moved into 2nd place, 2,274. He's gone past Rowan Kanhai. There's a lovely stroke. And applause from the skipper at the non-striker's end for Carl Hooper in playing that stroke just before tea. And he's gone. The breakthrough comes. Richards, a little assist from him, I suspect. And he's gone for 72 with the West Indies total on 226. Pringle is the hero for England. Richards was looking very menacing indeed. He made those 72 from just 80 balls faced. It's a lovely innings.
Perseverance here from Derek Pringle, and Richards committing himself forward and then trying to cut the ball away through the gully area, drags it on from the inside edge. Delight for England, but disappointment, I would think, for a few people in this ground who might have liked to have seen a Richards 100.
Standing ovation for a great player and for a delightful innings. It's Pringle to Logie. Beautifully struck by Gus Logie. Beautifully bowled by Jarvis. Deserved that. Had ill luck right through the innings. Took a little bit of punishment as well. But now he's broken back and picks up the wicket of Carl Hooper with the West Indies total at 240.
As most of the catches that England have put down this game have been put down off Jarvis, but Downton making no mistake. A little bit wide, I think. Carl Hooper won't be pleased when he sees that again, but just reward for Jarvis is nagging away all day.
Batsman for the West Indies is Geoffrey Duchamp. That was a cracking stroke from Duchamp. Nice way to get off the mark.
Yes, there's not been many better shots than that from anybody all day. Beautifully played, right on his toes and cracked away through the covers.
Pringle to Logie. Well, Logie now chancing his arm, extending the lead by 4 more. Lovely time shot from Logie. 3 if not 4. That's the 250 up. It's gone to 394 deliveries with the last 50 off the same number of deliveries. That's a fine shot. Really is an elegant player, Dujon. That's beaten them for 4. Embury coming on. Down the wicket. No answer to that. 4 more. Shin pads probably underneath the trousers and the helmet, but still plenty to hit. It's gone away down leg side and Small can't get there. 4 runs. Logie very quick to spot anything that he can sweep.
All the great sweepers or lappers sweep the length of the ball, not the line of it. The shadow of the pavilion just extending there, and it's a really beautiful evening. They surely can't be coming off a bad light, surely. No light meters. New ball. Oh, well, it asked for it. It was short. Not quite the bounce that Small had hoped for. And Gus Logie powers his way to a second half-century in the match. Perfectly played. This is the 5th over with the second new ball. Chance for Paul Jarvis to have a go with it from the pavilion end, going to Geoffrey Dujon. Was it worth it? The short-pitched ball swung away for 4 runs.
There's a great shot from Geoffrey Dujon, who's looked to be in menacing form from the moment he came in. The ball has found the middle of the bat for most of the time. He's played some lovely strokes and with perfect timing. Monty Lynch earlier in the day had to come on to field for Graham Dilley when the fast bowler was having his ankle strapped. Now he's on for Gladstone Small. Small has had a recurrence of that thigh injury sustained in the Texaco one-dayers. All leg byes, despite the very loud appeal and very confident appeal too from Pringle.
Once again, the ball angled in at the right-hander, and the batsman given the benefit of the doubt with the ball missing leg stump. Fair decision, I would say.
The partnership came up in 165 balls. Now Paul Jarvis, and he's bowling to Jeff Dujon. .350 up now for West Indies. Last 50 off 70 balls. It's been an exhilarating day of batting, but not so exhilarating for the bowlers, I'm afraid. Just 4 runs added to take it along to 354 for 5 at the close of play. A marvellous day's entertainment for the crowd, with the West Indies making 338 runs from 90.4 overs at a rate of round about 63 runs per 100 balls. That was terrific entertainment for everyone here at the ground. The partnership between Logie and Dujon was 114 unbroken in the second innings to follow their 130 in the first, and what a great innings Richards played, and so too Gordon Greenwich at the top there, a century and delightful stroke play from those two men. The bowling figures, well, everyone suffered. Dilley was the best again, 2 for 57 from 22 overs and 5 maidens. Gladstone Small is off with that thigh strain. Jarvis, I thought, was unlucky and bowled pretty well, 20 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 82. He'll do better in future. Embry was expensive and bowled pretty well, 20 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 82. He'll do better in future. Embry was expensive, and Pringle 2 for 60 worked very hard out there and bowled some good deliveries without having a great deal of luck. The statistical information shows that the West Indies are 398 runs ahead, and it doesn't actually say it there, but I can tell you that England are deep in trouble. For a lead of around about 500 before closing, that closure could come just before lunch unless they were to be bowled out. We pick it up now with just 2 runs added to the overnight total. Dilley is coming into bowl to Geoffrey Dujon. Graham Dilley will be having a few words to say to himself there. The one thing in the world he didn't want to do was provide a half volley on leg stump. And that's timed equally well. The ball really does run away down the hill towards the tavern or the mound stand. Another half century to Geoffrey Dujon. That is his 12th in Test cricket. He's hit 500s as well. Good player. Revenge for Paul Jarvis. Jeff Dujon goes. First blow for England this morning. Might just have been via the inside edge. Maybe only the replay will tell us that.
I think it probably was just a very faint inside edge. The ball certainly cut him back, and certainly an inside edge.
This is Jarvis to Marshall. Well, Martin Moxon's been brought in to point. I can say he might have been struggling to cut that off. Beautifully timed. That's very clever. And it worked too. It's even better. Sometimes the Yorker doesn't get through, but that's excellent bowling from Paul Jarvis.
Yes, that was tremendous by young Jarvis. Marshall threatened to come down the wicket, and he didn't pitch short. He got it right up in the block hole. Perfect reply.
Make the mess of that timber out there today, aren't they? Kirtley's gone. Now Logie has an even bigger problem in making those 19 runs. There's 8 wickets are down with a total on 380.
Well, at least the England bowlers are bowling straight. As she just said, the stumps all over the place again.
So now there's only Patterson left.
Good straight bowling from Graham Dilley. Just a little bit of movement off the wicket into the batsman, and the tail ender not getting far enough forward with the left pad and allowing the ball to get between the bat and the pad.
3 balls to go, and this time the field in for Logie. That's a great shot. Over pitch, but knew exactly what he was trying to do. It wasn't a slog, it was a placed shot and hit very hard. Gucci's probably saying, well bowled, oh dear. There's the single. Well, that's out. Well bowled Paul Jarvis, and bad luck to Gus Logie. He earned 100, just 5 short. And there's Logie, really, who's, well, he's done so much to place West Indies in this position of dominance. 397. All out. And that's what the little man did.
Yes, it was a great double for Gus Logie, and a pity that he was just 5 runs away from what would have been a marvellous century. 397, a splendid total from the West Indies, but full marks to those 2 bowlers this morning, Graham Dilley and Paul Jarvis, who did so well for England. They really worked hard out there, and they bowled sensibly. 4 wickets to each of them, 73 runs off Dilley and 107 off Jarvis. So this was the situation for England when they began their second innings. 441 runs the West Indies lead by. It's a big task for England. I suspect they'll be looking only at a draw. We pick up the action now in the second over. Already 3 runs are on the board, 2 of them wides from Malcolm Marshall. Here's Patrick Patterson coming in from the pavilion end, and he's bowling to Graham Gooch. It's a good start for Gooch. Extra slip comes in now. It would have been a great catch. It wasn't just a little edge. Came pretty much off the middle.
Yes, it went pretty quick, did that one. Gooch was actually playing it round there. Don't call that quick in slow motion, but that went straight off the middle, and it really was pretty quick.
Marshall to Gooch. Marshall letting it rip in this first spell. Always one of the best bouncers in the business, but usually better directed than that. Oh, that's well bowled. The bouncer to soften him up, and then the well pitched up delivery next ball.
With a little movement away from the right-hander.
Yes, that's out. Great strike for Marshall. Gooch not all that far forward. And really a great assorted over, which has made the initial breakthrough. The bouncer then beating Gooch outside off stump, and then the ball nipping back up the slope. Well, Gooch had a difficult innings to play there, trying to survive that man Marshall if possible, and it wasn't. It does tend to inhibit the outlook of any opener, particularly when faced with such a huge deficit as England are. Malcolm Marshall's 80th wicket against England. This is how he got it. Lovely delivery coming back up the slope, catching Gooch half forward, pitching just outside. Not really much doubt about that. And that's the score. New batsman Martin Moxon. Every England batsman has got so much to play for, not just in the context of the game, but with the next test side to be selected in 4 days' time. Marshall and Moxon. And that's how the softening up process against Graham Gooch started. Patterson to Moxon. Oh dear me, against the slope, and that makes the movement seem all that more. Marshall to Broad. Oh, that's out. And everybody highly delighted. Marshall, well, gracious me. If only he'd keep running and go to the dressing room, I think. Both England openers now in his bag. He toyed with the idea of going round the wicket to Chris Broad. Decided against it. Broad looking at the offending edge. There's the perfect delivery, pitching a round leg stump and just the right sort of nick for the keeper. That's nearly the high jump record. David Gow batting and the bowler Patrick Patterson. Oh, gracious me. The ball is certainly moving about.
Well, good judgment here by David Gower. And a bit more than good judgment there. That was about half an inch to an inch off the off stump.
Is it out? Gower waits. All the West Indians think that that was caught at third slip, and Gower did not. Now that's a clear case for Kenny Palmer to walk across to square leg, where David Shepherd might have a better view of it all. And Gower says yes, thank you very much. Given out by square leg umpire, and accepts that. David Shepherd, the man who gave the ultimate decision. And of course, batsman absolutely entitled to wait for the final adjudication by the square leg umpire if he's uncertain that the ball carried. Scorecard says Gower caught Richardson, bowled Patterson 1. 31 for 3. And Patrick Patterson prepares to bowl to the new batsman Alan Lamb. Good shot. Alan Lamb, at least on his 34th birthday, which is today, is off the mark. That's a good shot. There's space out there.
I think Alan Lamb's made his mind to give himself a little bit of room to the quicker bowlers, not get too far behind the line, and also to probably play a few shots as well.
Richie Richardson saying, was it a catch? Was it not a catch? Was it a bump ball?
Yes, as I say, your feet there completely anchored on leg stump, and the ball 2 foot wide of off. But the ball really flies over the top of the slips there.
Through the gap again. Almost relief as much as applause by the spectators for England's 50 up, 3 wickets down. Oh, dear, dear, how do you play that? Yeah, I agree with you, Patrick. It's bad luck. And if you can reproduce a few of those, you cut a few batsmen in half.
Big crowd here for a 4th day.
Patterson off the field, so you're going to get a change of bowling at the pavilion end. And it's going to be Courtney Walsh coming on to bowl at that end.
That's a very fine glance for 4. Brad likes that shot. A good driver and a good player square of the wicket as well.
The cut shot is a very right-handed stroke with the bat coming down on top of the ball, and you need a little bit of width to play the shot efficiently, but Lamb plays it particularly well.
And Lamb will go on to 33. Courtney Walsh.
Bad luck for Courtney Walsh. He really has bowled well in this test match without reaping just reward. Difficult to tell whether that quite carried. Lamb laid off the shot just fractionally, but you can see how much he's opened the face of the bat. 4 runs.
Now it's to be Curtly Ambrose. Good shot from Alan Lamb. 37 for him.
Full pitch delivery. And the full blade of the bat going through the ball. Struck with power. No need to run.
Through that gap between third slip and gully once again. Plenty of runs to play with for the West Indies.
Correct field, of course, when you've got such a huge lead, but very frustrating for the bowler to continuously have runs scored off you when you're really bowling rather well.
It's well bowled again.
As Graham Dilley left the bat of the right-hander so often, so has Courtney Walsh. He really has bowled very, very well indeed.
Good solid shot by Moxon. Three runs to Moxon, and England reach what has become a magical 3 wickets, 100 up off 197 balls, but for the loss of 3 wickets. And that's Lamb 50. Just beats Curtly Ambrose at the deep square leg boundary. That's a good 50 from Lamb. 8 fours in this half-century, and more than that, the first English batsman to break out and show some sort of domination over these West Indians. Oh, it's a beautiful throw. Marvellous throw. And poor Marty Moxon, after fighting it out for such a long time, squarely behind the ball, pushes the ball to mid-wicket, is sent back, stops, sees the direct throw smash the stumps, and he can't believe it.
Well, you can't think of a worse death than this. He's fought it out against the quicks, the bounce, the seam. Sets off there, and Alan Lamb seemed a little bit late in saying no there, but Moxon was certainly well down. To make a lot of ground to get back, which he failed to do.
How is that? And that's out. And Derek Pringle has gone. just 5 minutes ago, Lamb and Moxton were going very tidily indeed, and had been for some time. First one wicket, and now bang on the pad, the second.
Ambrose to Downton. Well, all sorts of possibilities with that stroke, but in the end, 4 runs.
Short and wide. Just enough pace on it, more than anything else, to beat the fielder.
And there's another great square cut. It's only 10 yards away from third man, but he needn't have moved.
Well, when Lamb gets in, there's no more powerful player in the country. Stocky figure and really cracked that one away.
Well, and there's another one.
Well, Downton's pulled that fine. Just pulled around with the ball. Didn't smack it hard, just guided it around. And OBW. Well, Downton was beaten for pace there. He started back and then tried to get forward. He only had a fraction of a second to do so. It was slightly desperate forward movement. I think he finished up probably only about 9 inches in front of the batting crease. Sure if that's a sigh of relief or
20 yards.
sigh of nerves, but whatever it is, John Embry's got his chin down out there and his nose as well. And that combination of facial extremes has brought him another boundary. That's a fine shot from Alan Lamb. Just through mid-on, there was no man there. And even had there been, he'd have been struggling to cut it off. Third man's very square for Lamb. 2 square as it turns out. So he now goes to 97. People who've waited here at the ground here partly to see if Lamb can reach his 100, even if it is 7:30 at night. Oh dear. Oh dear. That is real trouble. Ball has gone back onto the stumps, but much worse than that is the injury to Embury's hand. It's gone from hand down onto the off stump. Embury is out, but that was a fearful blow. high full toss and struck him flush on the hand. There were 2 more runs added up to the close of play, both of them by Alan Lamb, and he went on to be 99 when stumps were drawn for the evening. With him is Gladstone Small on naught. Still to come tomorrow, Graham Dilley and Paul Jarvis. 214 for 7, and a splendid comeback there by Alan Lamb. The bowling figures: Marshall was terrific today, 18 overs, 4 maidens, 3 for 43. Patrick Patterson expensive, but he got the valuable wicket of David Gower, and Courtney Walsh once again had no great amount of luck in his 1 for 50. Curtly Ambrose picked up that wicket of John Embury, 1 for 30. So as England come into the final day, it's rather an academic task for them. They need 228 more runs to win, but the West Indies need only 3 wickets. Play now in the first over. Patrick Patterson is coming in. 2 runs have been added. Gladstone Small is the man taking strike. And this time there's no hurry to go back, and no need to worry, because Malcolm Marshall has not quite managed to get down in time, which would give Patrick Patterson the chance to bowl again at Gladstone Small. Could there have been a deliberate touch in that from Malcolm Marshall, I wonder? It may have come off the pad, but certainly wasn't going to be LBW. Leg buys. No century yet for Alan Lamb. 4 at the total. Rather an ambitious appeal.
The context of the ball having to pitch on the stumps and not outside the leg stump. I think that ambitious is putting it mildly.
Now Marshall to Gladstone Small. They should get 4 for that. They've just beat the fielder into boundary. Runs very quickly down that end of the ground, just in front of cue stand, or just away to the right. Lamb now still on 99 and facing Patrick Patterson. It is 100 to Alan Lamb, his 9th Test 100, and the 4th time he's reached 3 figures against the West Indies. Been a good innings. Last century was back in 1984. That was against Sri Lanka, and it was in his 27th Test. Now he's playing in his 53rd, and has again made 100. 100 in 171 balls, 278 minutes, and 14 fours. Richards has got it. Misses nothing in the field. Doesn't matter whether he's out in the covers or at slip, where he quite often fields these days. Gladstone Small has gone, and it's now 232 for 8. Gladstone Small did the job of a tail-ender down there. He stuck around with Alan Lamb. Marshall has come around the wicket, and Richards pouches it very safely. Great effort from Malcolm Marshall throughout this game. He's bowled very well. Here he is now, bowling to Jarvis.
Oh, my word. Didn't get up all that much, but beaten for pace as well.
Yes, it's the angle that's obviously just doing them there a bit, but kept a fraction low, possibly from the length it was bowled. You can see it going down there, not really carrying, yet the odd delivery does go chest high to the keeper. And there it is, bouncing twice.
Well, there's runs there. Jarvis getting behind it nicely, and that'll be 4 runs. That runs away down there, away from everybody.
So Jarvis no mug with the bat. He plays pretty straight. Lined that up pretty well. Bat straight, and it ran away off the face of the bat. Down to third man.
Looking to get forward and judging it nicely.
Runs doesn't sound many, but it is holding the West Indies up, even though that may be a temporary measure. There's 4 more to Lamb. If you want to flash, then flash hard.
Yes, the old maxim, and certainly Alan Lamb carrying it out to perfection there. Giving that a real whack just at the last minute. And away it flew over the slips there. Lamb's played that way for most of his innings, giving himself a bit of room, and if the ball's been there, he has flashed pretty hard, so you've always got a chance of getting away with it.
Curtly Ambrose. Have to be quick. I reckon he would have been half a yard out there had that hit the stumps. Paul Jarvis wasn't backing up. In fact, I doubt very much if he expected the single, the field having been brought in and the ball played almost at the right hand of the field to Carl Hooper.
Change of bowling at the pavilion end. Courtney Walsh, who's really bowled very, very well during this test match in a supportive role. This morning the 2 bowlers used to start with. Patrick Patterson bowled 8 overs economically for just 12 runs, and Marshall 7 overs for 17, along with a wicket of Small.
Lamb's going to look for 2, but I don't think they can get it. Oh, what a brilliant piece of fielding, and what a sacrifice. Didn't look from here to be any chance of 2. Lamb has run out for 113, and all the good work and all the plotting he was going through out there to bat right through the day has now come to nothing. Brilliant effort from Carl Hooper, racing around, picking up in his right hand, and a super return. Nicely taken too by Courtney Walsh.
Vivian Richards' ploy all morning of allowing Lamb 1 and teasing him to try and take 2 has finally resulted in his wicket. But an object lesson to any young bowlers is that once you've let go of the ball, your job isn't over. You've got to get back behind those stumps in order to take the throw in, just like that. From a different angle, stunning the ball into the ground a little bit in terms of the force of the stroke, which might have made him feel that perhaps there was 2 on. But a beautiful bit of fielding, throw on the run, and everybody in the right place except Lamb.
254 for 9, and Graham Dilley. Reminiscent of the strokes he played against Australia in that innings at Headingley in 1981, when he was in with Ian Botham.
Yes, Graham Dilley doesn't need much room to throw the bat, and it was just in his area.
Another one straight down the ground for Graham Dilley.
Dilley can certainly strike the ball pretty straight. It takes the memory back a bit to Headingley when he batted with Ian Botham against the Australians for quite a long time. Got over 50.
That's just out of Desmond Haynes' reach. Here's the third man, so 2 more to Jarvis.
Just a little bit late there in getting on his front foot, Paul Jarvis, but no real chance.
Courtney Walsh to Paul Jarvis. What a great shot that is. It's for... Really, Jarvis has looked better and better.
Beautiful stroke from the England pace bowler. Perfectly in line, hands high, full blade of the black bat, and 4 runs. Just look at this. Cracking.
Patrick Patterson coming on for his first bowl of the match from the nursery end. Well, look at this from the England last pair. Another boundary.
Stroke from Graham Dilley. You give him width, no matter the length, he'll have a whack at it. Right foot was left behind a little, but the timing was good enough.
And there's 4 more. Well, dear me, hitting with the spin almost brings the 300 up. And that's the partnership worth 49. Patterson bowling to Dilley. Well, one more. And now the run is starting to tick along. That's the 50 partnership. It's come off only 69 deliveries. That is it. Graham Dilley, he's caught off the bowling of Patrick Patterson. West Indies win the second Cornhill Test by 134 runs.
Here's the end of the Test match. Something a little bit inevitable about it. I didn't think that Dilley could ride his luck forever. But at the same time, credit to Patterson, who stuck to his task, and credit to the catcher, Richie Richardson.
It took quite a time to break that partnership, but in the end, Richie Richardson did it. Patterson, the wicket taker, and he deserved that. He bowled with great speed at different times in this match, and was a very good foil for Malcolm Marshall. Good effort from the England batsman today. Lamb going on to 113 before that run out, which was just on the foolish side of tragic. And Gladstone Small 7, Paul Jarvis 29, I thought played very well, and the partnership with Dilley just raised a faint hope that with some assistance from the weather, England might get out of it. But in truth, they didn't deserve it because of the bowling figures for the West Indies side. Outstanding effort from Malcolm Marshall, and Patterson, as I say, a good foil. He looks expensive there, but every so often he produced a devilish delivery And Courtney Walsh, I thought, was unlucky throughout the match, as indeed was the case on occasions up at Trent Bridge in the first of the Cornhill Tests. Curtly Ambrose was a bit astray in direction today, 20 overs, 4 maidens, and 1 for 47. So that's the way it happened here at Lord's. England and West Indies. West Indies 209 and 397. It's a low-scoring game, mainly because of the first 2 innings being over so quickly. England 165 and 307. Well, that victory for the West Indies allowed Vivian Richards to accept a cheque for £6,500, and a very welcome one too for the West Indies. They thoroughly deserved it, and it must have been a very close-run thing between Gus Logie and Malcolm Marshall for the man of the match. Trevor Bailey, the former England all-rounder, gave it to Gus Logie, but it must have been just by a whisker.